Hello, I forgot to play the titles. Let's do that now. I'll be back in a second. There we go. That's more like it. A proper introduction. Welcome back or welcome along for the first time to the Geeknd Live. I am Jamie and we will be streaming with you for the next who knows how long. I hope you've packed a bag. We're going to talk Star Wars. I usually say Star Wars, Marvel, and more, but I don't think we're talking any Marvel. We're going to talk about a number of things, Star Wars included. What have we got? What have we got in this week's alleged entertainment? And I'm going to pop over to the chat and do some hellos. What have we got? Oh, yeah, Suicide Squad. The leaked trailer. We'll have a quick chat about that. Solo 2. Emilia Clarke has been dropping some more hints. I don't think these are hints that we're definitely getting a Solo 2, but these are definitely hints that she's saying, I want a Solo 2. Come and get me. Disney Plus with your Solo 2. So we'll talk about another interview with her where she's gone into even more detail about her character, her Star Wars character. Also got some cool Star Wars old school screen test footage as well of R2-D2 and some other kind of familiar looking droids. Maybe a few other things. We'll see how we go. What we will definitely be doing is the chat batch. So each week we look back in the last kind of section of the show. We look back at the most recent Bad Batch episode, which was like almost a week ago now. So that was episode 8. Reunion. So we'll be talking about that and probably looking ahead to what tomorrow might bring and beyond as well. And this week's guest is a very special guest. Should be a very familiar name to all of you in the chat. I was going to do like a big tease until he was unveiled, but then I have decided that tease would be wasted. It would be pointless. It would be a waste of internet time because one, I've already put it in the video description. And two, you know his name, but you don't necessarily know what he looks like because you see him occasionally pop up in the chat as a tiny little, what do the kids call him? Is it an avatar? Not like a blue thing, but, you know, like a profile picture, yeah? And that's kind of your relationship with him, really. It's Chad, the stopwatch Campbell. Yes, he. The guy who is meant to, since day one, bring these streams in, keep me to time, 30 minutes, no more, no less. Always more, never less, never on time. He is a failure as a stopwatch, but we are going to test his punditry skills tonight for the chat batch. So Chad, aka the stopwatch Campbell, but also from the Alamo Studio, which we'll talk about later as well. I have linked to them in the video description. So that's coming up. Let's jump over to the chat and say some hellos. Hellos and goodbyes, because Frogger just dropped in to tell us that he's got to go. So you got to go. You got to leave this for work? Man, Frogger, shocking. You need to get your priorities in check, my friend. But no, I hope to see you. You've made the wise choice, to be honest. And I hope to see you back next week or soon, my friend. Always good to see you, even if it is just for a little cameo. Glenn, the geeky hippie, is here, who is also saying hello. I was trying to like do a little mashup there of hello and howdy. Went very wrong. Howdy to David, because David is also here. The man, the legend that created the Chat Batch logo, Jones Capone on Twitch. I know nothing about Twitch. I need to learn about Twitch. I want to go and see what you do, David. I know it's gaming, and I've linked to it in the video description as well. I should also say thank you to Sige, because Sige, this was a collaboration of the Geeknd Live. Sige named it the Chat Batch, and David did the logo. I had nothing to do with it. I don't know what purpose I serve. Jane Flakes is here, and she will be sticking around, which is very good. Looks like I actually shall be able to make it this week. The wife's bike is knackered. Sorry to hear that. I hope the wife's bike recovers. Who else is here as well? Chad is here early. We'll be hearing more from Chad. That's enough of Chad for now. We'll be hearing more of him now. But he's still trying. He's still trying with the timings there. 30 minutes remaining. That was about 5 minutes ago. Pridonian's here also. Pridonian, I know you're You're not doing the Bad Batch at the moment, so I will be giving prior warning to when we slip into the chat batch mode in about 30 minutes-ish time. So don't you worry, mate. Right. People going on about lack of sleep. What's going on here? I mean, you've come to the right place. If you want sleep, you've come to the right stream. I will help you sleep. Don't you worry. Star Wars Meg is here as well. The Chat Batch alumni. Lightspeed Tonight alumni as well. Looking forward to do more with Meg. And if you don't know Meg's channel, it's a busy channel. Every day there are new videos, Star Wars news, theories, all that kind of stuff. Clays, good to see you, mate. Old Romero, speaking of Lightspeed Tonight, Romero's Watt tells me that you and him have been interacting on the old Insta of Grams. Right. Still, he's Glenn whinging about a lack of sleep. Well, you brought it on yourself, Glenn, reading till late, and then not calling it a night. Then you moved on to watching a few episodes of Shadow and Bone, and then couldn't sleep, so you read some more. You've only got yourself to blame, my friend. But anyway, like I said, I will help you sleep. Don't you worry. Like not to the extent that I will come over to the States and tuck you in and read you a story or anything like that. I'll just do my thing on this stream. It's enough to send anyone to the land of Nod. Peter's here, all the way from the Netherlands. Good to see you, Peter, as always. And this is nice. I like to see hellos between people in the chat. There's a lot of hellos, a lot of greetings going on right now. A lot of hello there's as always. Marcus, good to see you, my friend, mate. And I think we got Marcus and Marco, who've confused me in the past because they are two separate people. I think Marco's over in Ireland. I know that. Marcus, where are you? Are you really a separate person? Where are you on planet Earth? Are you even on planet Earth? Now this is a big moment because Saul Goodman is in the house. Always good to have a lawyer present for this stream because you never know what's gonna happen. Chad is bracing himself for his appearance later on, which is all good. Okay, I'm going to step away from the chat for I think that's what you're doing, Chad. Anyway, very professional, I'm sure. I'm going to step away from the chat for a moment. Let's get through a couple of these stories, or we will never get Chad on. So, what were these stories? Oh yeah, did anyone see the Suicide Squad trailer? Because it was sort of like, in headlines, it was billed as like a leaked trailer. It wasn't. It was just Jay Courtney of Australia introducing this early access trailer for the movie. James Gunn, of course, back to directing duties. And Jay Courtney plays Captain Boomerang. So this is sort of the follow-up to 2016 Suicide Squad. But it's not really. It's not a direct sequel to 2016 Suicide Squad. I think James Gunn has talked about it being a fresh start and a fresh direction as well, which I think is probably for the best. I'm sure a lot of you would agree with that in the chat. Maybe some of you wouldn't, and that is fine. But anyways, it's pretty much reset. And there's been a few of these trailers now, and I think my intrigue levels, which are certainly not through the roof, but they have been increasing by the trailer. So this is the trailer on Digital Spy. I won't play it, because I don't think I'd get in trouble. I've been slapped on the wrist a few times for playing trailers muted, but some of you might not want to see it. You might not want to hear me talk about it. I'm going to read these words actually that Digital Spy has said about it. So if you don't want to know, if you're avoiding any kind of spoiler for this movie, then mute me for now. So yeah, in the footage, as the article says here, and it is true, I've seen the trailer. In the footage, fans get a better look at the main villain, Starro, an alien starfish who shoots tiny drones out of a flap in their body. Sounds strange, looks strange. I think it's going to be strange. John Cena's Peacemaker has some questions about having to hunt down a massive starfish during the squad's briefing, as he earnestly asks boss Amanda Waller, starfish is a slang term for a butthole. Any connection? No, an annoyed Amanda Waller retorts, didn't think I would just be like reciting the trailer, to be honest. But anyway, it looks bizarre. We get the villain look as well. And here's some words that James Gunn has said about it. And yes, recently hinted at the Superman crossover when he revealed Bloodsport is in prison for taking him down with a kryptonite bullet. And that is something that we do hear in the trailer as well. If you believe these covers, he may not be the bad guy in that situation. He put him in the ICU, but he failed to kill him. The leaked trailer also includes a bit more footage of Sean Gunn's Weasel freaking out his fellow squad members. That was quite fun. So when is it coming out? The Suicide Squad is released in cinemas in the UK on July 30th and comes out in cinemas and on HBO Max in the US on August 6th. So a little bit of a gap between those two markets and their release dates. I imagine the UK is still in Europe. All right, we're still part of the continent. We're in the European Football Championship. So I imagine mainland Europe is probably more in line with the UK date there than the US one. Could be wrong. But anyway, I'm looking forward to it. I haven't been back to the cinema yet since the big reopening here, but I will be going back probably for Black Widow first, but Suicide Squad is actually on my list. And if you asked me that back in 2016 after seeing that one, I'm not sure it would have been on my list then, but it is now. Right. I'll just pop back over to the chat. Gaz Nottingham's here. Always good to see you, Gaz. And Geeky Media as well, asking what those of you think of Loki so far. I've got catching up to do on Loki, so I've been saying this each week. We'll talk about Loki, and we'll talk about Loki next week. I've got catching up to do. I think I'm freezing a bit, aren't I? Hopefully that this will pass. This moment of bad internet will pass. Meg, yes to Europe. I'm there with you. I'm pro. I mean, we haven't left Europe. You can't leave a continent. We are part of Europe. We are European. Whether you like it or not, we are European. So yeah, anyway, Loki, feel free to talk about Loki in the chat. It looks like Glenn is quite happy with Loki so far, but we will definitely cover Loki a lot more on the channel soon, right? Am I still really stuttery? It looks like it is my end. Marcus O asking about the England-Germany scoreline. I think too hard to call this one. I mean, it's a classic fixture that has penalty shootout written all over it, historically. But England, dull to watch. But at the same time, you have to say they've been pretty effective so far. And it's a shame because we've got some exciting players. So penalty shootout, and then probably Germany will win. But let's see. That's Tuesday, 5 p.m. UK time. Anyway, Jane Flakes is surprised that Suicide Squad is getting a sequel. Yeah, I think it's fair to say I am definitely surprised as well. Pridonians said that the sound is fine, but I'm just a bit pixelated. Yeah, I look a little bit, it's probably an improvement, pixelated me, but it's kind of going a bit juddery my end, so I'm guessing you're getting something weird your end too. But if you can hear me, I guess that's the main thing for now, and hopefully it'll sort itself out. This is what happens when you broadcast from a shed, people. I don't recommend it. By the way, I dedicated last week's stream to Vigo, because Vigo has fallen and I haven't bothered to repair him. So Vigo remains fallen. I'm going to dedicate this week's stream to, I think, Jane's wife's bike. The bike hasn't completely fallen. We obviously hope the bike recovers, But yeah, Jane's bike, and also Harrison Ford's shoulder. We're going to dedicate this week's stream to Jane's bike and Harrison Ford's shoulder. I don't know if it's this specific shoulder, but you might have heard that he's injured himself filming the new Indiana Jones movie here in the United Kingdom, Europe, and I don't believe we know which shoulder. I didn't look into it too deeply. I'm not his doctor either, or his physio. But he has injured one of his shoulders. He has two. I know he has two shoulders. Okay. We're looking at his right one, I think, at the moment. Obviously, a younger version of his right one. So anyway, he injured his shoulder filming Indiana Jones. And isn't that sad? But I don't think it's reportedly anyway not holding up the production too much. And am I right in saying that he hurt himself again here in the UK? What is it with him and the UK and planes? Seems to be where he mostly hurts himself or others. Yeah, Marcus O here saying he broke his leg on The Force Awakens. Something happened, didn't it? And I think that did affect the production a little bit more with The Force Awakens, but apparently for Indy, it's not affecting him too much, which is quite a surprise because you would presume that he's pretty integral to a lot of the shoots. But yes, why do we keep hurting Harrison over here? What has Harrison done to deserve this physical, who knows, psychological, emotional abuse that's being thrown his way? Star Wars Meg is not confident for the maybe mighty England going up against Germany. It's hard to know if we really are mighty because we're not losing games, we're not conceding goals, but we're not setting the world on fire either. Okay. And the wife is most amused that you made a dedication to her bike. I dedicate this stream to your wife's bike, Jane. I do. And also to Harrison Ford's shoulder, okay? We don't know which one, but you've got to share the limelight with Harrison Ford's injured shoulder. Geeky Media says, love Indy, but I have a feeling Indy 5 might be a bit rubbish. It might. There is always that possibility, but you'll be there. I'll be there. Pridonian, I didn't mind Suicide Squad. Then again, I've always enjoyed films. A lot of films that people think are terrible. Video game films in particular. Max Payne, Doom, Tomb Raiders, Resident Evil, etc. Is it still like pixelated and stuff? Your end, people, because it's really bad my end. But anyway, I don't need to look at myself. Right, okay, let's do another little story. We are now going to look at something else. But what could that something else be? Well, I think Gaz Nottingham will be into this. I know Gaz Nottingham is all about making Solo 2 happen. And someone else who is also all about making Solo 2 happen, it seems, is Emilia Clarke. Emilia Clarke is all over this. I mean, in some ways, the cynic in you might say, well, of course she wants a job, but I don't think Emilia Clarke is necessarily struggling for work. She's ticking all the big franchise boxes. So I can't remember what it was, the content of the interview, but she did an interview a few weeks ago that we talked about where she said something. I think it was reacting to that, something that happened in a comic book. Yeah, for anyone, I might have already done the spoiler thing. But anyway, she said more stuff now. Okay, so there might be a spoiler here if you haven't read a certain Star Wars comic. All right, there's your warning. And Gizmodo, who we're looking at the moment, James Whitbrook, have said in their headline, for the love of Star Wars, someone at Lucasfilm take Emilia Clarke's notes and do something. Because Emilia Clarke has a backstory. On Kira, her character from Solo. She also not only has a backstory, she has like a future story as well. Now, she obviously, she's talked really fondly, passionately about her time on Star Wars. And it is kind of quite an actor thing to do, to create a backstory in your head of your character, to create motivations and what have you. I'm not saying this from any kind of acting background of my own. I'm saying this from, talking to actors. In fact, one I did for the YouTube channel for our monthly Star Wars interview series. We're getting closer to the next one, first Tuesday of the month, remember? Richard Brake, who also was in Game of Thrones with Emilia. He was Valen Hess in The Mandalorian, and, his character turned up, got killed off in pretty much the same scene. So there wasn't much of a backstory given to him for that character, and certainly not a future story either. So he said what he always does is creates his own backstory in his head of this character. Never tells anybody about it. And that's something that Emilia Clarke has done here. She's not given any details of her self-created story, but let's have a look at some of this anyway. Where's the quote? Here we go. Right, so here are James Whitbrook's words. Emilia Clarke's post-Game of Thrones genre tour has taken her everywhere, from the galaxy far, far away to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it turns out her heart still belongs to Star Wars. Her Solo, a Star Wars story character, Kira, former flame of Han Solo, agent of Darth Maul's criminal syndicate, the Crimson Dawn, and thanks, spoiler, to the recent comics, now a major criminal power in her own right, was a highlight of the film. But since its release, Kira's past and future have been largely left untold, and it turns out Clarke herself may want to tell it more than anyone else. I reckon Gaz Nottingham, you want it more. Anyway, here's Emilia Clarke's words now. Kira's the one that has the most unfinished business, Clarke told The Hollywood Reporter in an interview about her new comic series, MOM, Mother of Madness. I really had pages about what her life was and what it would be afterwards, but I'm afraid I've heard nothing from Disney Plus. So maybe I'll just write it and send it to them. I'll be like, hey guys, got a few ideas. So look at that. She wants it. She wants Solo 2. I don't think we're ever going to get a Solo 2, to be honest, in terms of a movie. But I don't think we're done with Kira's character. That was proven recently, of course, with the aforementioned comic. Maybe that's the path they're going down. You know, maybe it's going to be dealt with, if you like, in comic book form. But I think there is a growing chance. I don't know if it's a solid chance, but I think there's a growing chance that we may get some sort of live action Solo spin-off on Disney Plus. And noises like this coming from the right people, you know, an integral and interesting character, can only help that cause. And I know Gaz Nottingham is all about the hashtag make Solo 2 happen. Right. There we go. There's another story. I can see Marcus O. Marcus O wants more Grealish. More of the Jack Grealish. Clays has confirmed the stream is fine. Thank you for confirming that. I probably should have checked back to check it was fine rather than just carrying on talking for 10 minutes on the stream that may not have been fine, but thankfully it is fine. I can see, is it Fourleaf? Fourleaf is in the chat as well. Sorry if I've completely renamed you there. Pridonian says Solo 2, bring it on, especially if we continue with the Darth Maul tease at the end. It seemed like a random tease to kind of, you know, have a full stop at the end of. You know, there was, I do believe there was more of a plan there. I don't think I'm the only one who would believe that. But the supposed box office, it wasn't a box office failure, but it was sort of reported that way, wasn't it? Really, based on previous successes, huge successes, I guess. Probably, maybe dampened the spirits at Lucasfilm a little, but again, there's a lot of fans crying out for it. Not all, but a lot. And, you know, now we've got one of the main actors crying out for it as well. Jane's on board. I would like to see Solo 2. Again, personally, I don't think we'll get a Solo 2 movie, but I would not rule out something happening in the live action format. Chad Campbell, I think Indy 5 will be better than 4. Why? No Spielberg or Lucas. Fresh blood could help. It could indeed. Yes, it could. Geeky Media, I liked the Star Wars session lads take on Make Solo 2 happen. They like Solo, but they think a Solo 2 would be a waste of a resources. Have Alden appear as Solo in things, maybe, but not a direct Solo 2. I always like the Star Wars sessions podcast lads take on anything, to be honest. And yeah, I'm on board with that. Make use of those characters elsewhere. Star Wars Meg says, I think Kira is going to appear in the book of Boba Fett. Emilia is just acting coy for the press. Yeah, they do that, don't they, these pesky actors? I I feel the funniest one was Daniel Craig, who I imagine can be a little bit maybe chippy in interviews sometimes. I don't know. I just imagine that. I don't know why. But when there was the rumor that he cameoed as a stormtrooper in The Force Awakens, which of course was true, there was I think he was doing a press junket, and to be honest, I don't think he does many of the press junkets, but he was doing one. And someone said, "Oh, because Simon Pegg leaked it, didn't he? Simon Pegg said it first. Oh yeah, I think Daniel Craig was a stormtrooper." Anyway, this poor journalist asks Daniel Craig, "Oh, Simon Pegg says that you're a stormtrooper in the new Star Wars film. Any truth to it?" And Daniel Craig completely, deadpan, completely shut down. The journo, something along the lines of, "Me, a stormtrooper, I'm James Bond. Why would I play an extra's role in someone else's movie? Don't be stupid." But Simon Pegg, don't be stupid. And I imagine, because I've been in those situations, I've been stupid many times in junkets, I imagine that journalist left feeling pretty demoralized. And who knows if Daniel Craig regretted maybe being that kind of severe with it, but quite funny at the end of the day, because now we know that he was actually messing around, he was actually joking, he was in on it. And James Bond, shoots at Pinewood. Star Wars generally shoots at Pinewood for the movies. So I think it was a kind of like, hey, let's pop next door, put on a stormtrooper outfit. And Ewan McGregor famously, of course, has admitted that he's been lying for years to interviewers about the Kenobi film series now. So yeah, I wouldn't rule it out as well, as Meg says. I mean, it's just acting coy, because that's what she does. She's an actor for the press. Gaz Nottingham adds, so much potential for more Kira. I want to see how she takes over from Maul. Alpha Monkey says, hi, Star Wars Mug. Meg, not Star Wars Mug. Star Wars Meg. So I'm saying hi, Star Wars Meg, for you, Alpha Monkey. I think all is good. I'm definitely having internet trouble on my end, but I'm just checking in the chat and nobody seems to be complaining about anything related to the technical side of things. Why is the internet going wrong? So anyway, there was something I saw here that I just wanted to flash up. Chad says the Lando series could definitely serve as a solo too. I don't know. I mean, we literally don't know, do we, about this Lando series? But there has been talk of it being like Lando through the ages. We're going to get a young Lando, old Lando, tales, in which case you could certainly have Alden show up. But would there be room for Kira? Amelia to show up as Kira? I don't know. Who knows? It could. If Solo 2 is the continuation of these characters within other shows and movies, as was it Chad who said earlier that as well, then yeah, maybe that's the direction they go down. But I wouldn't rule out some sort of sequel in the form of a series on Star Wars and Disney Plus, or as Meg said as well. Meg said as well, didn't she, that it could be Book of Boba Fett, where we see more of Kira at least. Anyway, and I suppose that makes sense, doesn't it, with the crime aspect of that. Right, Pridonian, don't call me stupid. And then we have a reminder that of me being stupid by saying Star Wars Mug instead of Star Wars Meg. Why do I do this? I can't even speak. James Flakes, young Lando could be interesting, but old creepy Lando just makes me want to bathe in bleach. I have seen old Lando at his worst. I've met Billy D. Williams when he's not fresh off a flight from LA to London Heathrow. And yeah, he was fine. But that was definitely old Lando. But then when he woke up a little bit, he became young Lando in front of me. And a little glint in his eye returned. He wasn't creepy. Would Alpha Monkey, Would be awesome to have Billy Dee narrating his youth with Glover reprising young Lando. Yes, I read out a message from Alpha Monkey correctly, I think. No, Geeky Media, there's no juice. There's no juice. No, he was fine. He was just, he was not, he wasn't a creep. What have I started here? He wasn't, Jane said that. He wasn't a creep. He was just really jet lagged. So he was just like a jet lagged old man, but I performed magic, which transformed him back to his youth. He soon became a lot more lively and fun. And this is true. He'll never grow old. He'll just temporarily seem old when he gets off a long-haul flight. That's all. Jane Flakes is not done, though. I think that the harsh editing in Troz made Lando look creepy. Right. Okay. I think I'm just going to show this footage of which I've linked to, by the way, in the video description if anyone wants to go and see it. Just some quite cool footage. I'm going to play it. I'm going to be a rebel. I'm going to play it. Some quite cool footage of some. I almost brought Chad in. I can see Chad's waiting in the virtual green room. I almost brought him in early by mistake, and what a dreadful mistake that would have been. This is on that hashtagshow.com. But I've put the link to the YouTube video in the video description. It's kind of cool if you like, I like my kind of behind the scenes stuff. And I don't know how unseen this is. It's being described as rare, at least anyway, from 1976. And you can see Kenny Baker inside the unit, an R2 prototype, when he falls over, and you sort of see his legs flapping around, which we'll take a look at now. Why not? And there's a number of droids. I don't know the names. I'm not good at names, but they're mostly familiar from the Jawas, like Junkyard aboard the Sandcrawler, and the droids that Luke then has to choose between on Tatooine. So, so let's have a little look. So there are Elsie Studios. So you recognize that one on the left, but couldn't tell you what it's called. I'm sure someone could in the chat. Maybe Chad could when we bring him in. Where is it? Right, I think we're going to see Kenny Baker fall over. We're going to see his legs flapping around. R.I.P. Kenny. He didn't die from falling over, by the way. He died a lot later on in life. Wait for it. No. Okay, we've got to wait. You have got to wait for it then. Okay, there's some real robotics there. Remote control robot, as opposed to Kenny. Kenny just doing his thing inside the R2 unit. Here we go. This has got to be it. Oh, there we go. Oh, so quick. Hang on. Let's go back and. Oh, hang on. There we go. There's Kenny Baker. I think he's wearing a diaper. He does look a little bit like a diaper. Anyway, there we go. It's quite cool. It's quite interesting if you like behind the scenes stuff like that. Then I've linked to it in the video description. Take you directly to the YouTube video. So go and check that out if you want to. Okay. What we are going to do now is move into the chat batch mode of the Geeknd Live. So I am going to change the branding. This is your warning that if you're not watching the Bad Batch, then we're going to talk spoilers. So I know Pridonian in the chat is absolutely planning on watching the Bad Batch, but he's not got round to it yet. So this part of the stream is not for you, my friend. I mean, you are welcome to stay, but I know you got to go, and there might be a few others of you as well. So this is your final warning. Spoilers are coming for the Bad Batch. We are going to be talking now in the chat batch about episode 8 reunion, almost a week old now. That's how we roll on the Geeknd, cutting edge. Okay, Pridonian's sticking around. The pressure's on Chad because Pridonian is sticking around, risking potential spoilers just to see Chad, the stopwatch Campbell, in the virtual flesh. So let's bring him in. Let's bring him in. Let's take off the logo. Let's bring back the branding. There we go. We're getting somewhere. Now I've just got to, I'm talking you through the process here. My process. Let's take off Brydonian's message. And quick one from Glenn here. Last chance to place bets. Analog or digital clock face or a human face? What are we going to see? What are we going to see here? It's Chad, the human stopwatch Campbell, who I can't hear at the moment. Hang on. Chad, hey, can you hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Can you hear me?
I can hear you pretty loudly.
Am I super loud? I can turn myself down.
No, it's my end. Don't you worry. You do your thing.
Right.
You be you, Chad. You keep shouting timings at me. Don't do that. In fact, we've got to like address this properly here.
We have negative 6 minutes remaining at this point. Yeah.
Forget about timings from now on, Chad. Just for now on. All right. Just for now. You know, when the stream ends, you need to revert back to your previous role in the Geeknd life. But just for now, you don't need to bark out timings.
All right. Okay? All right. I'll take that. I want to say what's up to everyone. It's kind of cool to actually be on here, but I talk to these guys regularly. I look forward to our weekly chats. So hello to everybody who's a regular on here. And if you're new, also hello. I'm sorry that mine is the face you have to see as the guest, but awesome to see some of you guys.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of people saying hello. I've just adjust the camera because I can see that I'm exposing the fact that it's a wall stuck on a wall. Anyway, Prydonian, I don't know if Prydonian's still here, but Prydonian was getting a bit frantic there. Show us your watch. I want to know. Are you?
I don't. I do it all digitally now. I use like my cell phone as my watch and everything. I don't even have a clock in my house, I don't think, outside of like the microwave and stuff.
No wonder you're so bad at keeping me to time then. You're just guessing.
You're just guessing. Yeah. I just assume like there's a certain amount of time left and I type it out, you know. Yeah.
Anyway, there's lots of hellos. Clay says hello. The chat skipped. David as well branded you a legend.
All
Jane
right.
Flakes, hello, man. Chad. Glenn Geeky Hippie, hello, Chad. Wait, are you Diego Luna?
Man, I wish I would be in a nicer background than this if I was Diego Luna.
You'd be in a hotel room somewhere in the UK if you were Diego Luna, I believe.
That's probably true.
Like, you know, with bodyguards guarding your shoulders at all times because, you know, we injure actors in this country. That's
now,
what we do.
Would I be do they put you in a hotel in London traditionally or are you on like okay.
When you're a lead and you're therefore here for a long time.
Right, I figured you got a trailer, but
no. Obviously on set you're gonna have a trailer, yeah. But I mean, you're living it. You're living it. So they tend not to live in a hotel. If you're a lead, like Harrison Ford will have an apartment somewhere. He might. To be fair, this has been his second home for how long now? He might actually have his own property here. I don't know. Guess what? Wow. I don't know. But I do know that certainly for the Star Wars sequel trilogy. I'm probably not supposed to say this, but even John Boyega, who's a Londoner born and bred, was offered his own place to live throughout the production in London. I do know that. And if you're here, like if you're Greg Grunberg, you know, you're here for like a block of like 2 weeks or something, you get put in a hotel. You know, if you're Snap Wexley, I do know that.
Okay.
There we go. That wasn't planned. Now, this is the problem with shooting in the early evening in the summer. You can see now my face has gone very overexposed. I'm not ill. I could be ill, but this is just the lighting. People don't get freaked out. This is supposed to be happening right now. Okay, let's just pop back into the chat. There's a lot more hellos, including from Peter, Marcus O as well, Kurt. And I think I've covered it all. Geeky Media has added that a lot of studios lease out apartments, houses in London. But talking about Diego Luna and the Andor shoot, they've been going all over the UK. They've been absolutely everywhere. So he'd barely be in his London property, hotel room, whatever it may be. Anyway, Chad, it's good to have you here. I have seen you in the virtual flesh before, but it's great that now everybody is experiencing your presence. Before we talk about the Bad Batch episode 8 reunion, you have a YouTube channel yourself. It's called the Alamo Studio. We've talked about it on the streams in the past. A couple of the documentaries you've made, Jewel of Skates and Last Day for Videos. Tell us a little bit about what the Alamo Studio does.
Yeah, guys, the Alamo Studio is just me and my good friend Tyler. We just do this on the side. It's a fun thing. It'd be awesome if we could do it full time, but the chances of that happening are so slim. That we just decide to have fun with it and do stuff. A lot of documentaries, especially about pop culture stuff, because that's what I'm into. So Star Wars, The Last Day of Family Video, which was the last rental chain, video rental chain, I think, in the world. Did one on that. Remember the Alamo, which is about a movie theater that closed that was well loved in its community. Lots of little things like that. We work with different Comic-Cons and conventions, do that kind of stuff. It's a really fun side job. It's a great thing to do. If you want to check us out, look up the Alamo Studio online or type in Last Day for Videos, and that'll take you right to it if you can't find the Alamo Studio. We interviewed Jamie once, so we're cool like that for May the 4th, and yeah, it's a good time.
Yeah, and it's not a YouTube channel like doing streams like this every week or releasing videos every day, every week. This is
no.
If people subscribe, it's not a daily videos type thing. You're putting out proper documentaries, and you can't deliver those on a weekly basis.
Yeah, and sometimes you get them, and then you have to play the festival circuit first before you can release it in the hopes that something will happen with it. That's just it's such a weird thing how different YouTube can be from an actual movie sometimes. The different approaches you have to take. So sometimes we do short videos. We have a few videos out, we did one with Jamie. We have a few behind the scenes things that we've put out recently. Really just, anything you guys are interested in knowing, you can ask us and we can probably put something out on it. But yeah, when we're making a full movie, you can't just get that movie out and then put it out on YouTube because you want to try and sell it or get someone interested in it through other ways. And festivals are weird. If your movie's on YouTube, you probably can't submit it to get money at a festival. It's just, I don't know how that logic works, but that's how it goes.
Yeah, well, it's worth subscribing alone for Last Day for Videos, which is already up there, and Jewel of Skates as well, which was a Star Wars themed world record that you got involved with. And I can confirm that you have 2 subs from this stream already. David and Glenn, the geeky hippie. I have linked to the Alamo Studio in the video description and also to their Instagram page as well.
Awesome.
All right. Well, we'll touch on that, to remind people at the end as well. Yeah. We can do better than 2 subs from this, surely, for Chad. He's worked hard with his dodgy timekeeping. Oh, there we go. 3 subs. Pridonian has also subs. You need awesome. To go now, Pridonian. You need to go now because we are about to start Bad Batch.
I'm ready.
So, Chad, we've seen you in the chat, mostly as we've already alluded to, attempting and failing to keep me to time. And I think when you eventually give up on the timekeeping, which I think you tend to do, don't you, at some point during the streams?
Point, yes, for sure.
Yeah, you've learned. You do chip in with your thoughts and feelings and marks out of 10 for the Bad Batch episodes each week. And if memory serves, it's been mostly positive from you for the series so far.
Absolutely. I think this series has the benefit too of I had no standards coming into it. I thought it's going to be some fun side questy thing, but I didn't think much. And I liked the Bad Batch and all that, but I wasn't in love with them as characters. I thought it was it's their version of the Ninja Turtles or something. And it could be fine, but whatever. I've been incredibly impressed with this show. Honestly, I think sometimes I've heard people say it's starting to lose my attention. And I feel that's because we're watching it on a week by week basis. But having binged Clone Wars, if I had to watch that, especially the first 3 seasons on a week by week basis, I would have given up way faster than with this show. The show's had a very consistent, intriguing narrative the entire time. And it doesn't ever try to talk down to its audience. Not that Clone Wars or Rebels necessarily did, but this one's just really kept me into it the entire time without needing to rely on things I know before, although it does a good job bringing those in.
Yeah, and you are actually, you're unlike me, you're fully up to date with the animated Star Wars, aren't you? Clone Wars,
Yeah.
Rebels,
So
Resistance?
I've watched, yes, I've watched Resistance. Resistance is don't watch it. It will add nothing to your life. But yeah, I've watched everything Star Wars, including all the Lego Star Wars shorts. The only thing I haven't watched is the second season of Ewoks and the later half of Droids. And I'm talking the 1986 TV series. But everything else I have watched that's been released.
You might get some heat for that Resistance comment in the chat because you've been one of them. You know that people have been convincing me to give the animated Star Wars series a go, and like here I am, pretty much done with Clone Wars.
We'll give Rebels a try.
Yeah, well, I know. I'm convinced now. Like you all got me onto the Clone Wars. Now I'm with you, on the Bad Batch ride, and in recent weeks, I've had the campaign has started to get me to watch Rebels, and you were part of that campaign. And I've said already, Chad, I'm gonna do it. And I tell you what clinched it was I don't know who debunked this, but I said something like talking about the darker moments of the Clone Wars and the Bad Batch. I was then like, yes, I'm assuming Rebels is the kiddier show, and someone, maybe it was you in the chat, said, oh no, Rebels can be darker.
And it was probably a few of us. I think Rebels has light moments, but not as light as Clone Wars. I mean, you skipped over half of the Clone Wars show because it's so light in parts. But I thought, and Bad Batch is very dark and has the potential to be the darkest, literally and figuratively. But I'd say that Rebels is this nice middle ground. When Clone Wars gets at its darkest, Rebels can be at that for a while, but it doesn't start out that way. Yeah, Glenn, let me defend my thing here. I didn't hate Resistance. I just don't think you need to watch it. I think it seemed there were moments when it could have been a really good show, and then it ended up kind of giving up. And I felt like they rushed out the second season. And Glenn, maybe you can disagree with that, but like they ended the first season well, and then I thought it was going to be good, and then the second season just bombed for me. So that's me. Guys, we're not talking about this. Let's talk about this episode, though. James.
Yeah, that's what we're meant to be doing. But just a few things on Rebels. The campaign continues to sell it to me. I'm sold. You don't need to anymore. Battle for Monkeys. Rebels is a worthy sequel. Jane Flake season 4 Rebels had me weeping so many times. It is beautiful. And just to say that you now have 4 new subscribers from this stream. Clay's is there with you. All right, then. So, let's get a bit more up to date with the Bad Batch. Then we've got your sort of general thoughts on it overall. And I can see Alpha Monkey also said earlier, I totally agree in terms of seeing the Bad Batch in the Clone Wars. I don't think many people were particularly excited to then learn that they've got a whole, brand new series dedicated to them. But the group dynamic, as Alpha Monkey calls it, seems to now be, growing on people, I think. So let's look at episode 8. Although I want to say more about, I want to sort of stay on the lines of episode 7 and 8 for now, because I don't know if it's just me, but it feels like with these last 2 episodes, they've really taken it up a gear or two, haven't they? Finally, some might say.
Yeah. No, I think this last episode especially was what I've been looking for a bit. And we were starting to get, I think the show's been pretty consistently good to me. I think I give it like an 8 is probably my average rating for each episode. They maybe vary like a 0.5 each time, but they're really close to each other in consistency. But I was waiting for more of the plot that we started in the first episode to come into play. And I was hoping it would happen here because we have a 16 episode season, or that's what we're supposed to have. And this is episode 8. Usually at that middle point, you have that big, let's bring it back and bring things in to keep the intrigue going and be able to grow further. That's especially common in a 1 season show. which this has the potential to be just a 1-season show. I always think of Cowboy Bebop with that. That's what I consider like a fantastic show, relatively flawless. Lots of times building up the characters in the beginning, introducing them, and then at the halfway mark, we're reminded of all the things that we've kind of been building up at the beginning.
Yeah, and David has said here, I think for David, these 2 words perhaps sum up the episode for him, and those 2 words are Cad Bane. Cad and Bane. We'll get on to that. Because I think that was, that seemed to be the moment that set the internet, or the Star Wars side of the internet, alive at least. But arguably bigger, I think, in terms of what this character seems to be doing for the series is the fact that Crosshair was also back, because we hadn't seen much of Crosshair's murderous, miserable, moody, gloomy ways for a little while, and having him back,
right,
ups the stakes, I feel, with this series. And is it just me, or having him there just seems to elevate the show?
Oh, definitely. I think Crosshair, and we saw Kamino, and we saw Crosshair interacting with Kamino, and these are 2 big things that have been kind of like since the beginning. We know something's going to happen with this stuff. So it was really cool to see it back. I am so interested in what they're going to do with Crosshair, because like maybe what I'm feeling is it's going to be like a standard in the end, like it's this tense moment and they're talking to him and the other side's talking to him, and then he turns around and shoots the bad guys, and now he's fully on their side. I mean, potential spoiler alert if they follow that route. I also wouldn't mind if they just keep Crosshair as a villain and make them have to make the difficult decision of what to do with their friend.
Yeah, he's a very good villain, but I'm sensing more the redemption arc is approaching. But all right then. All right, Cad Bane seems to be what people want to talk about. Glenn says, I died when I heard that voice. I assume he means Cad Bane, not Crosshair. Alpha Monkey, fingers crossed we get that Cad Bane versus Boba Fett showdown in this series. I need to see it finished. Also love the standoff in episode 8. And Glenn also wants some Cad Bane action in live action form as well. Glenn doesn't think. Glenn's pooing poo-pooing Alpha Monkey's hopes here a little bit, raining on his parade. I don't think we're going to get the Cad v Boba scene. Is that something you think we might get, Chad?
I mean, it would be sweet. I don't know if we're going to get it. I'd love to see it happen in live action, and we do something in like Book of Boba, the Book of Boba Fett or whatever. We see Cad Bane make an appearance. That would be cool.
And David adds, Cad Bane just as such tasteful dialogue that always serves the tone of the scene that he's in so well. Just a brilliantly written character. And he had a wonderful bit of music to accompany him as well. The soundtrack gets better and better with this series.
Yeah, I've always been a fan of the composer. I don't know if it's Kiner or Kinnear. I think it's Kiner.
I think so.
Okay, I always say, Kevin Kiner.
But I don't know. I think so.
Right. So behind me is all like, that's every Star Wars vinyl record I have. I've set up a little display. You can't see it well at all, guys. But I love listening to the Star Wars soundtracks, and I've just been impressed with how it goes. And I said, like, when the end credits music came on and it wasn't the normal theme, it was something else, that's when you know, like, okay. So it was a serious episode. It just adds to that. I loved it.
So it's fair to say you were also, like David, like Glenn, like pretty much everyone in the chat, you were also happy to see Cad Bane pop up.
Oh, yeah. I've said I feel like the show often has come across as like a huge thank you to those of us who sat through Clone Wars. There's just been a lot of great references and moments that mean a lot more. And the characters, you only know them through Clone Wars. And so I've just really been happy with how they've handled that.
So he's working for the, I can never say it, the Kaminoans. Was that all right?
Yeah.
Are you happy with that, Chad? Will you take that?
Yeah, I'll take that. I'm not that that guy who will
It's
not
acceptable
take
to your ears. Good.
Yeah.
So does that mean? I guess this means, and I trust you have the answer for me here, Chad. Does this mean at the batch you're back to Camino next, which is tomorrow?
So potentially, I also feel like they might not necessarily know. Did he say in the episode what he was taking her for?
I don't think he did.
Okay, so I feel like what I'm hoping will happen is that the next episode won't necessarily reunite them, and the next episode is going to almost be a prequel type episode where we actually get to see Omega's life and find out like what she is and who she is and why they want her so bad. That is what I'm hoping for. That would be a really cool way to start then the second half of the season.
There's Jane Flakes here is asking whether it's a single season, and if it is, there is the potential for a very sad end. Prepare for heartbreak. I'm hearing. I don't think it's been confirmed, but I'm generally hearing words that suggest this is not a one and done.
Yeah, they've said that they're keeping it at 16 episodes for now, and they keep saying that. And usually when it's for now, like of course the show is going to be a hit, and then they're going to say, okay, it's well received as a hit, let's make more. But I would like it. I wouldn't be upset if it's one. We'll just say that. I honestly, now that I know these characters so well, I'm almost upset at Rogue One, because it would have been really cool if these were the guys that got the Death Star plans and that's how they go. What a solid emotional wrap up that could be. Yeah.
Yeah, that's interesting. Although, get ready to care more about the characters you meet in Rogue One eventually, because we've got an entire prequel, which is not a one and done. There's going to be multiple series of Andor. I think that is confirmed. There's been a correction for us both, Chad, on the Kina pronunciation. Star Wars Meg says it's Kinna.
But then Glenn says
Kinna. Oh, yeah,
it rhymes with Geiner.
Glenn says, well, I think this is a debate between Star Wars Meg and Glenn the Geeky Hippie then. We'll leave this to the chat, and we will be corrected probably later on. Or Star Wars Meg does come back in terms of how many series we might have. Jennifer Corbett one of the writers? I think she is, isn't she? Keeps referring to this season as season 1, so I'm guessing 2 seasons at least. In the age of Disney Plus, it kind of makes sense. Clays says, nice one, Chad, on Rogue One.
It was just like, now that I've seen it, I'm like, what are they going to do with these guys? That would have been an awesome ending for their characters. Now that I'm all emotionally attached to them and everything, I think they really could have. And you know what? It'll happen at some point where maybe they decide that's the case and then Rogue One is no longer canon. The more you add all these side stories, the more you're going to have to cancel things. And create the tiers of canon like we had prior to Disney buying it out.
We talked about the soundtrack, and I'm sort of feeling like we should move off the soundtrack now because we're just getting all these. I'm terrible with pronunciations anyway, so I always try and sort of usually just sort of muffle over the word that I'm not quite confident saying. However, actually, no, I'm gonna pull it back. Glenn is saying that he's basing his pronunciation off the tons of coverage from Collider Jedi Council back in the day when it still existed. So we don't know, but anyway, it's either Kinna or Kina.
I love this. Okay, I'm not there. I just got a good question. Let's move on, though.
I can see that question. Yeah, I'm not going to let that one go. Don't worry. We'll come back to that in the wrap up. But no, let's get away from the soundtrack, because I also want to talk about the visuals as well, which I think across the board, everybody is in agreement that they have been stunning for the entire series. But I feel like this episode, I don't know if I'd had, a particularly good sleep the night before, if I was feeling a little bit more awake and alive than usual when I watched episode 8. I feel like this episode looked even better than anything we've seen before.
I think it's because what we like tends to be a more adult view and a more serious look. And this episode 100% is just dark. it's just serious. It reminds me of in episode 9 when they get on the Death Star, and it's just, but even darker, where it's just, it feels more serious and adult when something is like pitch black like that. It just adds this weight to it. And so for that, given that this episode had weight and it looks like it has a lot of weight, I think naturally we're like, yeah, that was perfect. It does have, though, I even wrote this down, my favorite shot in Star Wars now, probably.
What is it?
That will change in a week or two, is when we see everything from Hunter's POV as he is being carried onto the ship. Like, he's been shot, and then we just see this, like, through his little visor thing, we're hearing the muffled screaming, and we're seeing him being carried on. It's at like the 22-minute mark in the episode. Oh man, that was like a absolutely fantastic shot. I don't know what it was. It was just, Star Wars is not, besides video games, it's not a POV thing often. So to see that and almost feel that added a lot of weight for me.
So are you saying that's your favorite shot in all of Star Wars or all of animated Star Wars?
Man, it'll change. Like I said, it'll change in a couple weeks. My opinions on Star Wars change all the time. So for now, that is my favorite shot in all of Star Wars.
Hello to the Blue Pig Gaming, and also to Ant. Ant is here as well. Always good to see Ant in the house. So we are in chat batch mode on the Geekend Live. We're chatting about episode 8 reunion. Do you have it's probably a stupid question, this, but that's what I do, Chad. I ask stupid questions. Do you have a standout moment from this episode?
I mean, what I just said, the carry, it was just something about that. Also, seeing Cad Bane's appearance, I did not expect that at all. I don't know who would have. That was just really cool. I got geeked. It was exciting. I also enjoy that Omega got taken, and hopefully we can learn more about her. But this episode was just one of those like pinnacle episodes in a show where you're going to refer back to it as, this is when the story really started to move and that kind of stuff.
What your answer there demonstrates really how much you did enjoy that POV Hunter shot, because, just looking at pretty much across the board in the chat, everybody is, before I even asked, they're singling out the Cad Bane moment, and that shot was so good, so delicious for you. It knocked that moment, I'm presuming, down into second place.
Yeah, so my friend pointed out to me that what they do in Star Wars now, especially Filoni's Star Wars, is your first season is building up these new characters. Your first 6 episodes, 8 episodes. Then the second half, we're going to be bringing in the people you love and bringing it all back. And Mandalorian's a perfect example of that. Rebels is a perfect example of that. Rebel season 1 is like all new characters. And then season 2 ends with like only characters from Clone Wars, essentially, answering all those things. And if we look at Mandalorian, first season was building up those guys. And then the second season was just getting visits from people that we already know and bringing it together. There was probably I don't even know why I went on that rant, guys. Now I'm going, what was I saying? But so I think for me, having a character come back is cool, but I mean, and it's a great character, but it's also something we're going to see 100 times in every version of Star Wars. Now, I think that's just the thing to do, is have people watch just to see who will come back.
Yeah, and again, the talking points, I suppose the big talking points, a constant has been, who is Omega, what's she all about? And also from this episode specifically, Cad rocking up. And also, I suppose now Chad's favorite shot, possibly in the whole entire Star Wars catalog. That might be a big talking point across the fandom now. But something else that I found quite interesting from this episode was that little, I think it was episode 8, not episode 7, but that minor, that's the problem doing these things on a Thursday. I need to rewatch the episode again before we do this stream because I've watched it like a week ago. But anyway, I'm pretty sure it was episode 8. There was a little minor bit of conflict within the batch, you know, clashing interests, if you like, clashing kind of ideas of what their place in the galaxy should be. You know, when it was episode 8 when Echo questioned or disagreed with Hunter's decision to reject following Rex's cause, the cause. Yeah. So I think that was episode 8, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was episode 8. Yep.
So
it was just a little one-off, but yeah.
I'm hoping that becomes, I'm assuming that is going to become a bigger theme, you know, especially if we're only halfway through this season, and also, you know, potentially another season at least. The Bad Batch finding their place in this changing galaxy, because it's been a sort of underlying theme, hasn't it, throughout? But I think it's going to be a growing theme now, isn't it? That's certainly not settled yet.
I think if it wants to be risky, they won't live past this show. I also feel like they'll never do that because Star Wars ultimately is largely for kids and is designed for kids and written for kids.
Rogue One, mate. Rogue One.
I know. Okay. Rogue One is still a light PG-13. I guys, people can hate me for that, but I'm using George Lucas's words. That it was designed for kids. You can't watch all of Clone Wars and tell me that's not a kid show. Now, it doesn't treat kids as stupid. It's not teaching them the alphabet or something. It knows kids can handle emotional journeys, but it's still largely for children. So I think but this show more than most has been adult. There's been some really dark moments in this that I was surprised at. I feel like it could end up where they die, but they'll never kill off Omega, if we want to do that, because I see everyone saying that. So I feel like Omega will live. I don't know what'll happen, but I can see the clones all going and Omega staying around.
Yeah, I'm on board with that. Alpha Monkey sums it up. This show has been a tug of war between child-friendly and some seriously dark stuff.
For sure.
LOL. I don't usually do LOLs, but I did it for you, Alpha Monkey. I'm still trying to recover from the mug moment earlier on. But yeah, executions. That is not child-friendly, is it? Crosshair's just not child-friendly.
No, and so what they'll do is, like this show, they'll start out with a the Prime Minister Camino and Crosshair having that dark conversation, like it's going to be a darker episode. But then we move into Wrecker and Omega having fun with like exploding things and like, having that like child bonding moment, both getting along. That's for children. That kind of writing is not necessarily for us. So that's where I think that's how I always remind myself it's a kid's show.
Ansem asking about Boba. Surely we've got to get some more Boba in this series. And that's interesting. Do you think, because Star Wars, Marvel, a lot of franchises do this now. They use one existing series to not necessarily link into the next series that's coming your way, but at least to provide some sort of tease for it, or to start ramping up the excitement, whether it be a post-credit scene like we had at the end of Mando. Do you think there might be any kind of connection, like Ant's saying here, between the Bad Batch series and the Book of Boba? Because as Ant says here, we are all presuming that the Book of Boba is going to be flashback heavy. So the kind of timing doesn't matter so much.
I think in the Book of Boba, we might get references to this show. No, because that wouldn't make sense. I don't think they do it before they do it in this show, because that would be a spoiler for the future seasons of Bad Batch. I don't think that we're going to see that happen. I think maybe he could make an appearance in episode and like be like Boba and like half help them, half not. But I'd rather Cad Bane be. This is very, people hate me for this. Cad Bane is way cooler than Boba. Like Boba's a fine person and all that. Like, but Boba's one of those exactly what we do in Star Wars, where like we saw one guy in a corner and he looked really cool, so we overhyped the shit out of it. We overhyped the crap out of it until we I'm sorry, guys.
You've ruined it. You've ruined my clean channel,
things.
my clean record, my squeaky clean record has just been muddied. Of all people, but to be honest, you owe me at least one expletive for all of the times I've dismissed your timekeeping ability. So I'll take that. I'll take that.
Okay, all right. I apologize. So Boba gets this hype, and then we throw him in because now Filoni grew up and loved Boba probably and is a fan. It's we've got to bring back Boba. That's awesome. Yeah, that's my quote. Chandler, I'm glad Boba's a fine person. No, I think that we don't have to see Boba in this show. There's not that I can think of. There's not really a reason for Boba to be in this show, but I didn't think we really needed half the stuff we saw in Mandalorian last season either. But it proved me wrong, and I enjoyed it. So, yeah. But yeah, so Boba got eaten by a plant in the sand, but not really. Yeah, that's how we are in Star Wars now. George Lucas changed it so that he did die. That was the edit, or maybe it wasn't. There's all this controversy on whether that was really George or not. Anyway, but now he was alive. We take fan service. We as Star Wars fans, we love fan service.
We'll take it. And I kind of remember now. I vaguely remember in the past when Boba's been brought up and what have you, probably during the Mandalorian, the last Mandalorian season. I vaguely remember you popping up being kind of not anti-Boba, but ranty-Boba.
Yeah,
you've got some Boba-based beef, haven't you, Chad? This is all coming back to me now. He's triggered a dirty word from your mouth.
He's a cool character, but I have yet to see why he was so fantastic, other than fans made him so fantastic. And that's okay. We can do that. That's all right.
He disagrees. Boba is the best, hands down. And yes, Jane Flakes, Dank Ferrick. Someone did say a dirty word. Yes, I know. It's shocking. David here as well. Agree. Cad Bane is way cooler. You've got David in your corner. Star Wars Dirty Harry. Right, everyone. We're getting close to wrapping up because I just don't know what he's going to say next. All right, we're going to wrap this thing up. So get ready with your scores out of 10 for episode 8 of the Bad Batch reunion. But Chad, one more question, I suppose, because we've been talking about a cameo. We did have a potential cameo in Boba, and we know Fennec Shan's going to reappear. We know her story within the Bad Batch. Well, we think her story's not done anyway. In fact, I think I saw on Twitter before we started it, there's been a mid-season trailer released today, and Fennec's in it, so she is coming back, and that's confirmed. But do you have another cameo a cameo that you realistically think we're going to see, and a cameo that, realistic or not, you would love to see in this series?
Boy, realistically, I don't know. This is not stuff I think about, and that's so weird, is that I don't think of who would I like to see. I just want to a part of me would really like to just see original characters. But this is a show that's designed to not be just original characters. I hope we don't see Ahsoka. I love Ahsoka, but we don't need to see her, at least not yet. I don't know who I would love to see. Man, that's a tough. I should have an answer ready. I do not. Wow, I am not remembering his name. The pirate. Oh my gosh, from Clone Wars. Guys, help me out here.
I'm terrible with Clone Wars.
No. Okay.
The pirates in Clone Wars, people.
Yeah, he's also in Galaxy's Edge on the ride.
Hondo
Ohnaka. Yes. Yeah. Okay. I would love to see Hondo make an appearance because that is one of my favorite characters. So the more Hondo, the better for me. Just a fantastic. Thank you, everyone, for saying the name. That'd be awesome. Yeah.
It's all coming out now.
Hondo is always a good time for me. Just such a fun character. Even in Rebels. And he's in Galaxy's Edge. You can go see a full robot version of Hondo doing introductions on things. So it would be cool to see a Hondo appearance. I'll never say no to that.
Ant reckons it's going to happen. Ant reckons Hondo will show up. And also, one that I think is less likely, but not impossible, is seeing some Greedo. And that reminds me that someone, sorry, I can't remember who asked it, but someone asked earlier, Chad, and we'll ask this as the final exchange before we go to scores out of 10 and wrap this thing up. Someone asked Chad earlier, who shot first?
Okay, so for me, I will always say Han shot first. I also say that is one of the things that bugs me the least of special edition changes. It's such a minor thing. It does change his character, sure, but I mean, we have an entire like musical song number in Return of the Jedi now that's just garbage. I would much rather get rid of that than Han shooting first. And at this point, they're shooting almost the same time. I mean, when you watch all the slowing down things, I will always say that Greedo shot first. So that's me. Jamie, are you there or did you freeze?
I'm here. Yeah, I feel like whatever you said was clearly too controversial for the internet because everything, my end at least, just went a little bit weird. Greedo
shot first. That's just how it is. But it's not something that bugs me as much as it bugs some people. I don't see how rewatching it when they shoot almost at the same time, how it necessarily like completely changed Han Solo's character. If anything, it makes him becoming this family friendly guy in Return of the Jedi make more sense, because that didn't make sense otherwise, how he's all of a sudden this like funny, nice, uncle character. But yeah, that's that answer to that question.
There we go. We asked the question, we got the answer. All right, everybody, final call to get your scores out of 10. Sorry if I've missed anyone's comments before now, but we are about to wrap up. But it's always the way that we end by getting our guest score out of 10 and also your score in the chat out of 10 as well. So, Chad, what would you give this episode 8, reunion, out of 10?
I think I've given everything else like a 7.5 to an 8, maybe an 8.5. I'd probably give this a 9 out of 10.
So that's your highest so far, yeah?
Yeah, highest so far. And, honestly, I can't say what's wrong with it so much that I couldn't give it a 10 out of 10, other than I think it played like a lot of things we've seen before. It felt a lot like a Mandalorian formula episode. We would have seen the same formula happen on that. But I agree. I think it was the best so far. Easy 9 out of 10 for me.
Cool, man. All right, let's check in the chat. Quite a low one here from Jane, a 6 out of 10. Okay, now this is when we went on some sort of tangent because there's a lot of messages about Hondo and what have you. 8.5 out of 10 from the Blue Pig Gaming, who also adds that Greedo shot first. Oh, Jane's back again. It's a high 6. It's a high 6. Okay. Valdis V with a 9 out of 10. So the chat skipped again, so I might have missed a few. 9.5 for well, I think that's very high from Glenn the Geeky Hippie. 9.5 out of 10, almost entirely for Cab Bain. 9 out of 10 from Clays, and I think 8.5 from David. 9 from Alpha Monkey. These pretty high scores until we reached Pizza with a 5.5 out of 10. Not really a great one, but if you go back to my school of thought when it comes to scoring, 5 is average. 5 is above average.
Peter, what I love though is that Peter, like, you can totally have that opinion. I might sound like a guy who disagrees with everyone, but I like to know when everyone isn't 9 out of 10 all the time. So because people got to like other Star Wars episodes that I don't. That's just how fandom works. So I appreciate that kind of score.
Yeah, man. Well, you know what my scores have been like throughout this series.
Yes.
7 out of 10 from Mark O. And we have got I'm gonna have to try and say your name again. 9.5. Oh, that's for Greedo, not for the episode from 4 Leaf. Okay. All right, then. I think I've read everyone's out. Sorry if I haven't. You can copy and paste them back in, and I will. But I am going to give this episode a 7.5, which I think is the highest score. And to be honest, I might even nudge that up to an 8.
Wow.
Generally, I have been giving 6s or 6.5s at least. But I know I gave the pilot, the opener, I think I gave that a 7. I think 7.5 for now, but I might upgrade to an 8 at some point for this. I'm going to watch it again. It was the best episode so far that wasn't the opener.
Yeah, I thought it was a great episode. I also love the comment that Janie or Jane just gave. I like to be negative. It is my goth roots. That is a fantastic comment. Yes.
I missed that. Where is it?
Back in the Evanescence days, you know. Yeah.
Well, that reminds me that we should just do a final, dedication. This stream was dedicated to, I think, Vigo. Vigo has fallen, and I'm going to try and fix Vigo for next week. And also to Jane's wife, Bicycle, as well. And we're also dedicating this stream to Harrison Ford's injured shoulder as well. And I must also remember, because I have been known to forget, but because Chad, you're on the Patreon, so you've just been there to remind me, just looking at you. Thank you to all Patreon members as well. So Chad, also thank you to you for taking the time out from timekeeping duties and also, your actual life and your job as well to come and talk to me on the stream about the Bad Batch. And just remind people who might have joined later on a little bit about the Alamo Studio, what you do over there, which is Chad's YouTube channel, which I have linked to in the video description.
Yeah, guys, I make documentaries. We don't have regular updates on things. Right now, we're making our first scripted film. That takes a lot more time, but on the side, we make different documentaries about a lot of pop culture things. Star Wars, Comic-Cons, video stores, physical media, all that kind of stuff. You can check it out on our channel. Give it a like, subscribe, all that kind of stuff. I'm not good at like that self-promotion thing, but, I'll take it, so.
I would say if you want to, if you're subscribing to Chad's, you should subscribe to Chad's channel, the Alamo Studio, and you're not going to be getting, this could be a good thing. You're not going to be getting notifications every day saying a new video has been uploaded. When a video arrives, there may be months apart, but they're a treat, and go and check out what's there already, particularly for a Star Wars bit of flavoring, Duel of the Skates, which is a world record attempt involving lightsabers that Chad made a documentary out of. And also Last Day for videos. Wherever you are in the world, you would have had your local VHS video store, DVD rental store near you. It's probably not there anymore. And this,
nope.
This is, it's a local angle, but at the same time, it's a global thing, isn't it? That documentary of yours covers.
Yep. Yeah. It's just about the last day of the last video store chain in the world. So.
It's definitely worth checking out. And it's like 7 minutes long or something as well.
Yeah, 7 minutes long. I tried to make this one a lot more less festival minded and more like what will I actually sit through on YouTube. So
yeah, well, go and watch it. I've watched it. You should watch it. I'm vouching for it. And also I'm just going to apologize to Jane and also to Jane's wife and also to Jane's Kazawaki ZRX1100 exclamation mark. Which is not a bicycle. I must have branded it as a bicycle. So I'm sorry. It's a motorbike, yeah? I know you like motorbikes, Jane. I mean, I know on Instagram and also there's a motorbike wheel in your profile picture.
Did you
I'm sorry.
It's Kawasaki. That's the name.
Don't make it worse, Chad. I was trying. All right, okay, I'll do this again. I've got to get this right for Jane, for Jane's wife, and for the bike, not the bicycle. Okay, how'd you say it?
It's Kawasaki.
Kawasaki ZRX 1100 exclamation mark. So this stream has been dedicated to Jane's wife's bike. The legendary, the exclamation mark stays. Kawasaki ZRX 1100 exclamation mark.
There we go.
All right, there we go. That's good. The exclamation mark stays. All right, I think we got your 5th sub over on the Alamo Studio.
Sweet.
Alpha Monkey there. Wonderful. All right. Okay. everybody. Now, Chad is having that awkward moment. He's seen this before from the stream where I don't know how to end. I don't know how to end the stream. You know, I need you to hang up on me, and it's even worse when a guest is there. Just
Yeah,
you said we were finishing 5 minutes ago, 10 minutes ago, 20 minutes ago now. So anyway, we're going to end this now with Clay's message. Thanks, guys. Great show. Have a good one, everybody. Thank you. We will be back next week with another Geekend Live, chatting about all sorts, and then also with the chat batch as well. So I hope you all enjoyed a Bad Batch episode that comes out tomorrow. And I hope you all have a lovely week. And I hope England beat Germany. And I will speak to you next Thursday. Goodbye, everybody. I love you really, Germany, but I hope we beat you still.